Hi everyone, welcome back to .NET Lovers. I am Nikhil and in this video we are going to design a AutoSuggest. So in this video we'll learn how we can design AutoSuggest and how we can perform well in design interview. We would have realized a lot of AutoSuggest we use while chatting, while writing some post on internet, and those suggestions come from the keyboard when you are using a Google keyboard, or maybe it is built in with iOS or Windows. Those keyboards provide you AutoSuggest. When you type a phrase and it would basically suggest the full word, you can just swipe and that will be added to the text box. So that kind of auto suggest we are going to design here, and this is gonna be a low level design. So we'll consider we'll be having only one device where we'll be having this auto suggest, and we'll be suggesting the words when a user types. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Here is a problem statement which will be given by interviewer. Design a auto suggest similar to phones, so while typing a word, user can swipe a suggested word. User should be able to see suggestions he used previously, and also suggested words should be in order of frequency. Most used words should be on top. Moving on to next slide. Here are 6 points I already explained in my previous video, and these points you have to go through for each of the design problem. So I'll start one by one. First one is ask question for details. So as I explained in previous video, you'll have to ask your interviewer whatever doubts you have to clear them, and then only you should be getting into design. So this is the first point, and I have written like 2 questions here. Similar kind of questions you also might have, and you should go and ask your interviewer. Like first one I have is, should I show top n suggestion or all the suggestions? And second one is, should I show only words having more than 3 characters? So basically, if you want to show words which are having more than 3 characters, if you want to consider them only. So these kind of questions you also might be having, and these questions you will ask your interviewer before getting into design. Next slide is list important entities, and here 2 entities are there. One is words and word frequency. So in next slide we'll see what data structures we'll use for these. So for valid words we'll be using try with a boolean flag. I'll explain it later why this boolean flag is required. Second one is frequency. We will have one integer variable in each try node, and there will store the frequency. Now this is very important point. We have to think of logic, how we have to create this design, what logic will be there behind this auto suggest. I have this try here, you can see. And what is a try? Try is a tree where each node may have multiple children. So this is root of tree, and root of tree always will have null value, and each node may have multiple children. So here this node has 4 children. Now it may have from A to G anything, and each children again may have multiple children. Like this O has 2 children here. So suppose someone enters one word called hope, H-O-P-E. So first we create a node called H and add into the children of this root. Then child of H will be O, and child of O will be P, and child of P will be E. So this is how we create H-O-P-E, hope. Now next word, suppose I want to enter H-O-T, hot. Then we start iterating from here. We already find one H is there, and then we go to next level, and here we see O is also is there. So only we have to insert is T, because T is not there. H-O-P, P was there but T was not there, so we'll insert one T. So from here H we can have 2 words, H-O-P-E and H-O-T. Okay, and the boolean value I was talking about in my previous slide, right? So is word, that is the boolean flag we are having, and we are setting it true here in this node and this node, because here I can see HOPE, it is a valid word, it is completed here, but HOP is not a valid word, so that's why here the boolean value will be false. But here, since it is a leaf node and we can see it is a valid word, that's why is word value is true. So frequency will be an integer, and suppose if someone enters hot word again, so first we got hop, then we got hot, and somebody wants to insert hot again, so that time we know the word is already there, so we'll just iterate through this, and at the leaf node we'll just increment the frequency of it. And this is how we are going to store words and frequencies together in this try. Now take an example. User is typing something and he types HO. Now we know from HO there are two words, HOPE and HOT. So we will retrieve these two words from this try, and then we sort them based on their frequency. Since frequency of HOT is 5 and frequency of HOPE is 3, then HOT takes preference and will show HOT hot on top, and second suggestion will be hope. Moving on to next slide. Here we have summary of all we discussed in previous slide. So I'm just not going through it and moving ahead to next slide. So this is the next point. Any design patterns could be applied here. So I'll say no. I don't think any design patterns can be applied. If you think something can be applied, then you can go ahead and do that. So last one is unit test cases. Here you can write down some of the unit test cases. You can think of what and all unit testing you have to do, what and all logic you have to test here. So I have written 4 here. One is non-existing word should be added to try. So if a word is not there in a try and user enters that word, that should be added to the try. If there is one existing word and the user inserts it again, then we'll have to increment frequency of that word. Third one is search should return words in order of frequency, so that testing we can do. And here if user provides some value n, so we can return only top n suggestions, not all of the suggestions. So these 4 important test cases I have written here, and same will be using for our unit testing. So this is about slides. Now we get into the actual code and see how I have written the code and how you can design an AutoSuggest. Here I have the project solution. So in this solution I have 3 projects added. One is AutoSuggest library. Here I have all the logic of try and AutoSuggest. Second one is unit tests of this AutoSuggest library, and third one is a web app where we have added reference of this AutoSuggest library and we are using it in this web app. So let's get started. First class I have is the try class itself. We've seen in slides what is try and all. So here I have root of the try, and this is the try node. Let's see what is there in try node. First property we have is key, where we store the character value. Second one is frequency, to store frequency of the word. Third one is boolean, we discussed in slide. And the last one is children. I went with a dictionary here. I'm storing character and its node. So this is the key and this is the value. So I can fetch character node in O1 time, and also this dictionary prevents me to add any duplicate characters here. So this was the idea behind using a dictionary. If you want, you can use a list, but it will increase some time. So where do you want to find a character, you have to iterate through the list. But in this you can just use the character as a key and find the appropriate node This constructor is taking key as the input, and we are setting the key and also initializing the children. Going back to try. So in this try we are initializing root with empty value. That's what we discussed. Root should have empty or null value. And the next method is add word. So in this add word we are starting with root and index 0, and this word will be a valid word like hot and hop we seen in the slide. So we try to find as many matches as possible, and if there are no other matches found further, then we'll add the remaining characters. So I'll explain you with this slide. So let's get back to the slide. Suppose somebody added hop already, and now next word comes is hot. So we have to start with this node h. H is fine from hot. Then next character O also is found in this try. HO is found. Now T is not there. So till here we'll iterate, and what is remaining? Remaining is T. So we insert T node here as children of O. So that's how we insert hot here. Here we are doing same thing. We are adding remaining characters after last match. So this is the private method. Basically I'm creating new nodes and keep on adding whatever remaining characters are there, and then it will return the last node, that is the leaf node. And here in the leaf node we have to set this boolean is true because this is a valid word, and we have to increase the frequency. Next method is search words. So here user will provide a partial word as input, and we have to find out all the suggestions for him. So this is the empty list of words. So let's see what is there in word. So word class has only two things. One is word string and another one is the frequency. We'll form a word string from the character try and also fill this frequency of each word. Same like add word, we start with root and index 0, and we try to find all the characters from this partial word into the try. So here if you found all the matches from this partial word, then we'll be searching for next matches. So here I am searching all the children from the last node and keep on creating a word using this key, and if it is a valid word, then we'll be adding it to the suggestion list, and then we'll be looking for next valid words. Let's understand it with the slide. So I'm going back to the slide. So here I had given example where I have added hop and hot. So suppose user enters a partial word called ho. So we iterate through this root node and we find h and we find o. So these two are found what user entered, and whatever valid words from this node, all the valid words from this node will be our suggestions. So HOPE and HOT, these two will be our suggestions. So this is what we are doing there. This is the only one main class we have. Now moving to this AutoSuggest service. So this service is just a wrapper around this try class. So I am taking this iTry as dependency injection, and here two methods are there, suggest and add valid word. So in suggest I have maximum suggestions given as 5, and this is the partial word what the user will enter. So here first we'll search all the words from this try, and then we sort them based on the frequency, and after that we'll just take whatever maximum suggestions provided by client and return them. Next method is add valid word. Basically if word which is added by client, we will be adding the same word in this try. So we'll check one condition here. If it is not empty, then we'll add it here in this try. So these are all classes we have in this library. Now if I go to this web app demo, he, here I have added AutoSuggest library as a reference. Okay, and here I have one home controller. So it has two APIs, one is get and post. Get basically provides suggestions. So the same inputs you see here, what we had here in this AutoSuggest service for suggest. So I'm calling this suggest method and returning this and returning all the suggestions to the user. And in post, basically we are adding a valid word. Also there is one private method to sanitize some word, like if word has dot or some kind of special characters, we'll just remove them, and then only we add the word. So this is the API, and here if I show you startup class, in startup class I have added this try as singleton because I don't want it to be created every time. So that's why I have added as a singleton, and same with this AutoSuggest service. And this is our HTML page. Here we have one text box, and this div has the suggestions. So on each key down, I'll be checking if it is a backspace, then whatever word was formed, I'll remove one character from that word and store it in this word. If user presses enter or space, means it has created a word there, and I'll add that into try. So that's why I'll be calling this add valid word method. Basically this is the same post we have written in this home controller, this one, and I'll add that word here. When user is typing some word, we have to show him some suggestions. For that I have this get suggestion method, so I'll be calling this method. So this is calling this get API and getting all the suggestions. So here I'm passing a word, and once I get the response, I'll be adding all the suggestions inside this suggestions div. Okay, and once suggestions are loaded, user can click or swipe those suggestions, and that will be added to the text box. So that's what the logic I have added here. So I'll just quickly run this and show you how it works. Now I'm writing, so I'll take the same example. I'll write hot, then if I type H, you can see hot has come, but I'll write hop. Okay, now if I type ho, you can see there are two suggestions are coming, hot and hop. So if I click on hot, see this is added here, and if I try to write again, you can see hot is coming on top because it has more frequency, right? Because we have added it twice. So hot has higher frequency. Now I will try to increase frequency of hope. So hope will be on top and hot will be on second position. So I'll write hope again and one more time. So now frequency of hope is 1, 2 and 3 times, but hot is only 2 times. So next time if I try to get suggestions, you can see hope is on top now. Okay, now let's write some sentences and see how it works. See, this is how it works, and if I swipe the word, I can get the word in this text box. So this is about it. Now getting back to the code. Now we'll see what and all unit tests we have written. Ideally, I should be creating one unit test project for this web app also, but there is nothing much, so I did not create it. If you want, you can go ahead and create it. So unit tests are written only for this library, and this library has only two classes which we need to test. One is AutoSuggest service and another one is this try. So let's look into AutoSuggest service test first. So here I am creating object of this class, and there is a try required, so I'm marking this try here. So here I'm trying to find suggestions and it should be a success. So here is list of output, and input is test word, which is ABC, and outputs are ABCD, ABCE, ABCF, and all this are there, and their frequencies are like this 1, 3, 2, 5. Okay, and here I'm just getting one word which has the maximum frequency. So if I see here, it should be ABCH, which has highest 7 frequency. And then I'm setting up this try, which was mocked here, and here because I'm calling search words from this AutoSuggest service. So if I show you here, I'm calling this search word, so that's what I'm mocking here, right? And this returns the output, this output. Okay, and I'm calling this suggest method from this service, so this will return me the output, and here suggestion count should be 5. Okay, because I have given 5 here as maximum output I wanted. And once it is done, I'll see on the top this maximum frequent word should be there, so that's what I'm checking here in the assert. Also I'm verifying if this method was invoked once or not, so that's why it is times dot once. Okay, this is one test case. Another test case is if I'm adding a valid word, so it should not throw any exceptions, right? So that's what I'm just checking here. So there are two strings I'm passing, one is ABC and one is null. So see if it is null or empty, it should invoke once this method add word. If I show you here, this is the add word, and if it is a null, then it will never invoke because here I'm checking if it is null or not, and then only I'm invoking it. So these are two tests I have written. Moving to the next, try test.cs, and here we have created object of this try, and first test case is adding word which should be successful. So test word is ABC, and I'm calling this add word method, and if I show you here, this was the add word method I'm calling here. Once it is added here in assert, I'll see if all the characters are added or not in this try. So that's why I'm using a for loop here and checking if that character is added or not. This is one test case. Another unit test is repeating a word. So I have added ABC first, and again I'm adding the same word. Twice I'm adding. So what it should do, as per our code, it should increment the frequency. So that's what I'm checking here, that frequency of that last leaf node should be 2, right? So this is what I'm testing here. And the last one, it is searching the words. So on searching word, it should return all the exact matches. So if I add this hot, hop and hot, it should return me hot and hop when user types HO. And same next one is if user insert hot, hop and hot, and if user types hope, HOP, hope, then it should return only HOPE, right? And if user enters something like X or which is not there, or something like empty string, then it should not return anything. That's why it is empty. So adding words first and then calling this search words and matching if the output is similar to this output or not. So first array is input, second is output, expected output exactly, and this is the search phrase. And these are all unit tests we have. So this is what we have designed, a small AutoSuggest library. Hopefully this will help you in any interviews. I have added link to the code and slide in description of this video. So go and download the code and run yourself. So let us know what another design you want us to create in next video. Leave your comment. If you like the video, do not forget to share and subscribe our channel. And thanks for watching.